Hello everybody, and welcome to our first of 3 sessions. I want to welcome you guys to class. Start with a reminder that we begin promptly at 6 p.m. every Wednesday. Make sure that you are logging in about 5 minutes early so you can complete the Audio Setup Wizard by clicking on the Audio Setup Wizard button. Make sure you are ready to learn and interact with your classmates by eliminating outside distractions. Lower your virtual hand unless you have a question, and be sure to submit your class summary by the due date. Also, a big shout out to our virtual learners. Make sure you guys are completing your missed class summaries and getting those turned in as well. Remember, that's how you get credit for the missed class. So as we begin, I want to make sure that you guys are seeing the information that I am seeing. So for our virtual learners, you won't be able to see this, but for anybody live, you will be able to. You'll see the recording in the top right corner, and you will also see welcome in the top right corner. So I don't have anybody in here now to verify that for me, but I do see that I have a blue mic next to my name, so it is recording the audio, and I see the bar moving, so we should be good to go. So let's start off by reminding you to turn off any distractions. We want to make sure that you are able to focus on your learning. So no cell phones, no TV in the background. You want to make sure you have all those distractions turned off. So as we get started, a little bit about myself. Again, my name is Jason, and I will be here guiding you guys through our e-learning in the 21st century review. I have a wife, I have 2 kids. We love to do some community events. That's a picture of us at the breast cancer walk. I am a graduate of Wright State. That's a picture of me graduating with my bachelor's degree. We also participate in an event called Pelotonia in Columbus, Ohio, where I ride my bike for 25 miles at minimum and raise money to go towards cancer research at the James Cancer Hospital. Another important fact is I love cruising, and this is the cruise ship that I am going to be setting sail on March 25th. So we got a 7-day cruise coming up while the kids are on spring break, and I cannot wait. So let's go ahead and get into the material. So as we begin, the first thing that I want you guys to do is to go into breakout session 1 and tell me what you are looking to learn from this class. For the virtual learners, that means you are going to begin your missed class summary with this information. So let me know what you're looking to get out of class and really kind of what you are hoping to learn. So once you guys are done with that, we will go ahead and move on to our learning objectives now. By the end of this 15-minute lesson, you should be able to describe the history of the development of e-learning, describe the community of inquiry, and discuss how a care center can incorporate the community of inquiry into its learning strategy. So in the beginning, there were groups of people learning from each other in face-to-face environments. Then humans learned to develop a written language, and learning was forever changed. We began to understand that we could share the same message over and over again by simply writing it down. If you think about it, the written word is the original e-learning, and it still is today for many of the e-learnings. So it's kind of crazy to think that we have come so far and have so many tools available and so much technology available for our use, yet we, as a society, are still creating learnings in very much similar ways. I know I've taken several online courses. You probably have taken some online courses as well, where it was the instructor reading the information that's on the slides in front of you or reading from the book. Basically, they were just talking at you, not really interacting with you, not engaging you in that learning situation. And I really think it's due to a lack of understanding, and that is what one of the big ideas of this course is. I want you to leave this course with an understanding of what it means to create an e-learning while applying the theoretical framework of the community of inquiry. So Garrison describes e-learnings as the utilization of electronically mediated asynchronous and synchronous communication for the purpose of thinking and learning collaboratively. I don't know that I would have described e-learnings exactly that same way prior to reading this book, so I'm wondering, how would you describe e-learnings in your discussion posts? For this week, I want you guys to go in on your Weebly pages, and that needs to be one of your titles. How would you define e-learnings? For our virtual learners, you don't need to include this in the missed class summary, because I will see it in your Weebly page. Another item that Garrison discusses is that we never learn alone, that the idea of self-guided learning is an illusion. I don't know about you, but I was definitely a light bulb moment for me. You know, I've always thought about studying by myself, learning by myself, that you need to have self-guided or self-directed learners. It was the first time that I considered that there was an instructor behind the self-guided lesson, that there was someone encouraging me to learn and presenting the information to me in a way that would hopefully help me create some sort of deep understanding. Even though I myself have created these lessons, it didn't dawn on me till this. So in your discussion post for the week, I want you to let me know if there are any of these moments for you in the first 3 chapters. So as you were reviewing chapter 1, 2, and 3, was there a moment when you thought to yourself, I never thought about it that way? That's amazing. Tell me about that, okay? So make sure you guys are doing that in your discussion posts. In the book, Garrison describes the community of inquiry as a generic and coherent structure of a transactional educational experience whose core function is to manage and monitor the dynamic for thinking and learning collaboratively. So I completely agree with that description, and I think we could do it a little bit more justice and perhaps make it a little bit more real. So I want to hear your thoughts, again, in this week's discussion post. Describe what the community of inquiry is to you. So what does it mean, and how do you really think about that? The next thing that I want you guys to take a look at is the framework of the community of inquiry. So how does it all work together? And in fact, I have a short video that I want you guys to watch. I'm going to go ahead and play it here. And I am also going to put it in the chat. And you will notice that I have shortened the video so it just plays the specific snippet for you.
Communities of inquiry began in the pre-digital era as a learning concept that tried to understand the impact of social interaction on learning. Its originators felt that too much emphasis had traditionally been placed on the empirical Cartesian model of knowledge, and not enough on the social aspects of knowledge formation. In the digital era, Communities of Inquiry was reformulated to incorporate online learning environments. Canadian researchers at the University of Alberta identified 3 key components that each contribute to meaningful online learning experiences.
So what do you guys think? Social presence, cognitive presence, and teaching presence. Each one of these separate items come together to create the framework of a community of inquiry. You'll notice, and one of the reasons why I just had to pick this graphic to show you, that each one of these have a significant amount of overlay in the others. In fact, there's about 2/3 overlay, 1/3 separate. When you look at the social presence, it really is a big overlay in cognitive presence and teaching presence. When you bridge that gap between cognitive and social, you're really talking about supporting discourse, helping them really work through the learning process. When you look between social and teaching presence, it really is about how do you set the climate? How do you establish a good environment for people to learn from and a great setting for people to really take the information that you're sharing and translate it into deep understandings, allowing them to convert that information into something that they can use on a daily basis. And then lastly, you've got cognitive and teaching presence. That really is all about selecting the content. What is it that you want them to learn? And as the teaching presence, what are you putting out there? All of these together combine to create the overall educational experience. What are people learning? How are they learning it? How are they feeling about it? And this is the framework of a community of inquiry. So when you look at it, it is really that combination of all of these together, you know, not just the one, not just the other, but really all of them. So not just social, not just cognitive, and not just teaching, but it takes all of them to create this overarching experience. So as we finish out, what I would like you guys to do is at the end of the lesson, once we have finished all the way, I want you to go and enter breakout session 2. For our virtual learners, that means this is going to be the end of your missed class summary. And I want you to tell me one thing that you will change or do differently based on what you learned today. And really, I want you to focus your attention on the customer care center environment. How do we take the diverse group of associates that we have with the diverse skill sets and even the variety of departments that our associates work in, and how can we take that information to really create an environment where people are learning together, working collaboratively towards that one goal of a deep understanding. So spend some time doing that. Make sure you get that in your missed class summary for our virtual learners. For those in attendance, you're going to head over to breakout session 2, and that is actually going to bring us to the end of today's session. So for reference, as you guys know, E-Learning in the 21st Century by Garrison is our book that we are using, and that's what we created many of these materials today about. And I encourage you to read it beginning to end, and then as we review week after week, you'll just have to brush up on the chapters. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me during my office hours. If it is outside of office hours, email is the best way to get in touch with me. Have a great night, guys.